Hi, welcome back to Paper 1 Question 2 on Lesson 3. So today we are going to do more practice using the petals technique and attempt one paragraph for the learners to write about the Dracula passage that we saw last lesson. So this is the structure of the question, reading a certain paragraph using language 2 and then focusing on words and phrases, language features and techniques, and possibly, if it's appropriate, sentence forms. The date today is the 22nd of October. We just checked through a few more techniques that we wrote down in our books last lesson. So assonance, repeated vowel sounds, for example, shoot a cool look. Dissonance, clashing vowel and other sounds, spew, bang, clash. And oxymoron, contradiction in terms, such as sweet sorrow. And there are a few more. Colloquial, which is local English, not standard English, such as sick or it was like or I was like. So contrast becomes increasingly important, especially when we're moving on to question 3. So obviously that means two different things, such as he was a kind man, however he was cruel to his roses. And we mentioned zoomorphism, which comes in today, assigning animal characteristics to a non-animal. The flood pounced on the village, for example. We quickly just reviewed a passage from The Time Traveller's Wife and the techniques therein. Just had a quick reminder about all these different techniques which we actually found in that passage. So stop the video if you would like to look at anything more closely. We then moved on to Dracula and we looked at this passage again and the highlights, which show 3 different topics which you can address in question 2, which in this case is how does the writer use language to describe the vampire girl? So I picked out 3 different topics within the passage. These 3 topics were the semantic field as that of intense physical sensation, the girl appears in many ways like an animal, and the one the students dealt with today was 2 colours of red are mentioned which associate the reader's thoughts with blood and danger. In order to do a full question 2 answer, you would need to choose 2 of these 3 topics. Because each one, if you follow the petal structure, should get you 4 marks, and therefore you do 2 to get 8 marks. Here is a petal structure. You use point at the beginning and then evidence, which is a quotation, to back up your point, mentioning the techniques therein and analysing the effect on the reader. So these are the 2 that I did myself and offered to the class to look at as examples. And these are the answers which we actually already saw the first one of last lesson. So stop the video if you would like to have a closer look at this, which you saw last lesson. This was the second paragraph. So this was addressing the issue of the girl appearing like an animal, and I'll read it to you. So the point, evidence, technique and analysis are all labelled, and there is a key at the top of the page showing the structure of how to do this question, and all of the text is colour coded to match that. The writer represents the vampire girl like an animal. He does this by describing her actions and especially her mouth and teeth by repetition of the word teeth and using verbs and adjectives such as licked, sharp and sharp. The repetition of teeth reinforces the animalistic nature of the girl, and the actions of licking and her sharp teeth, the simile like an animal, and that she arched her neck, emphasise that she causes a sense of fear in the main character, implying that this would be caused to a human in the presence of a dangerous animal. And this is zoomorphism, which is a technique we noted down just earlier. So you should get 4 marks for that paragraph, making a total of 8 marks for the previous one. We left this paragraph as a model on the board, and the class is then divided up into breakout groups, if they were big enough, and put together on the board, on the shared notes on the software, an answer about how the writer describes the vampire girl based on this quotation, the moisture shining on the scarlet lips and on the red tongue, and the proposition that the red colours could be related to blood and danger. So we put an answer together in breakout groups or as a class. And this is my answer, which I offered as a model to the students at the end of their work. So the writer uses imagery to portray the vampire girl as dangerous by using red and scarlet to show that she's bloodthirsty. These adjectives symbolise blood and danger. The writer uses these red colours to instill a sense of fear in the reader and the idea that the protagonist is petrified. These are student answers with some corrections to spelling, punctuation and grammar. But basically these are answers written by students put together in breakout groups today. And you can stop the video and read what they've put because they are all good quality answers. So that was our work today. Student attempt at a third paragraph for that question 2. And that was the end of today's lesson. Thank you for watching.